All right. First question, always first. What season of life are you in right now?
I'm in my. So is it chronological or is it like
It's
psychological? Right.
completely up to you. Everyone answers the
So
question a bit different.
chronologically, I'm a senior citizen. I'm 65. Right. So psychological, I feel more like a 35-year-old. Um, I think like a 35-year-old. I'm pretty sharp. I can do most things. Activity wise. So I can gauge against. I have children, two 26 years olds, and my son's 6'4", strong, and my daughter just participated in a half Ironman, so which is like a 3 mile swim, a 13 and a half marathon, a 13-mile run, followed by a 56-mile bike ride.
Jeez.
So you would say she's in good shape. She's trying to be as in good shape as me. She doesn't feel she's reached where I'm at yet.
Hmm.
And here's what she's doing, right? Um, I lift weights. I can lift heavy weights. I can sprint. I can outrun kids, high school kids that do running. Not long distance, but in a sprint, in a short distance. So I stay young that way.
Yeah.
Um, but then again, when I get up in the morning, man, my hips hurt or my back hurts. So I am 65. My body aches like a 65-year-old at times. Uh, and I don't ignore it. I work with it. So I work out. I stretch a lot. I read a lot to stay healthy.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty good.
Awesome. Um, what financial advice would you give your younger self?
Yeah, put more money away if you can. I try to balance the fact that tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So you don't want to be rich and die before you can use it. But then again, you don't want to get to that age and still have to work when you don't want to. When you get to that senior age of 65, 66, 67, whatever. So you got to kind of balance it, and it gets harder when you have kids. So you put a little bit of money away for retirement, a little bit of money away for their college, and then you take your family vacations and all that. And so you may not go to Hawaii this year because that's a lot of money, but you'll go to the beach for the week, or you go to the lake for the week. And the money that you didn't spend on that, you can seed these other types of long term investments like retirement, college fund, things like that.
Do you think you got that financial piece like from your parents, or do you think you just picked it up on your own?
Picked it up on my own. I come from a very poor family. We had no money. They, it was my parent, when I was growing up, there were six of us, three girls, three boys. Uh, I've never known my dad to work because he had cancer. He had brain cancer, so he couldn't work. He was on disability, and my mother was a waitress. So she brought up six kids on a waitress pay, and stuff like that. So there was no money to even think about. There was no retirement investment, all that. My mother died at 52. My dad died at 65.
Wow.
If I had to say why, poverty.
Really?
There was no money. It was stress all the time, raising six kids and just trying to make ends meet all
Hmm.
the time.
Hmm.
It was tough.
So, so you think that like poverty can also like just like limit your quality of life and maybe lead to
Oh, absolutely.
faster death?
And that's why a lot of people. That's why the how long you live is skewed because they throw numbers in there like if when infants die, that's part of the overall number. So when they say uh, males only live to say 76 or 82, whatever the number is, well, again, they're throwing a lot of stuff in there, and then there are a lot of poor people, people that have low-paying jobs that can't afford healthcare and can't afford
Good
uh,
food.
good food, like they'll go to McDonald's because it's cheaper there than go to a quality restaurant. They may have more quality food at it, and your body is made up of what you eat,
Yeah.
and so because of that, I think people who live in the most people that I know that live into the 90s and on, they weren't poor. They weren't rich, but they weren't poor. And again, if you have too much money, and then you get too lazy and you eat all the wrong foods. It's the same on that end, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be you got to find your happy medium somewhere. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. What advice would you give yourself if you were to go back to 18 years old, about to graduate high school? What advice would you give yourself?
take it easier. I worked my philosophy through life because I didn't want to be poor because I already had that part. I worked hard. I
Yeah.
worked very, very hard my entire life. I normally, even to today, I work 2 to 3 jobs. I make really good money working at Pinkerton. And I still work 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah.
I work PACE, which is another job. I have another boss when I work for the PACE program here, and I work at 2 different community colleges.
Yeah.
Still, I'm 65, still working. That's 4 jobs if you look at it. I have 4 different bosses to report to, and maybe I could work a little less hard, but that's just the way I grew up. You work hard, you keep your job, and you seed your different bank accounts, right? You got to live for today, which I do, and you got to put some money for retirement, and you got to take care of your family, your kids.
Yeah.
So
And it sounds like that just come from, like you said, you didn't want to be poor anymore, so you work hard, and it's almost like that, like, I've got to do this to make sure that I don't go back.
yes, it's a psychology that got baked into me young. And it's not something I can stop doing. I work, I work, I work. I work hard. I work a lot, and that's just it got baked in at a young age. My children don't. They work, they make good money, but they do not work like I work, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's the point. Um, what advice would you give to yourself before becoming a parent?
Before becoming a parent, yeah, that's kind of interesting because there's really not much you can do. Um, you want to make sure if it's a planned thing, because sometimes they're not planned,
Mm-hmm.
you want to make sure you have a stable home life. Having children does not fix a bad marriage.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have a kid thinking that's going to fix it. You want to make sure that you have a place for that child to be brought up into. So if you're barely getting by and can't, never mind saving for long term, but you're barely making your bills and you're behind in your car payment or whatever, it's not a very good environment to plan a family with. So you want to make sure that you're planning for that. You want to make sure you have time to spend with your children. So if you're working 2 full-time jobs or 3 jobs and you don't have that time, that's not good either. So what I did was when I did have children, I on purpose became a Girl Scout and a Boy Scout leader, or Cub Scouts when we started, to spend the time. And I spent a lot of time with my children because I got interested in their activities.
Yeah.
So my kids did skating. I went to every skating lesson. I went to every swim lesson. I went to every recital show they were in. I never missed anything.
Yeah. It's awesome. There's a scene of Jerry Jones. It was a TV show, but he essentially talked about his football team. Just like, I built this so I could work with my kids. So like,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
brought all my kids into it. Now I have this business that I just get time to spend with my kids.
If you get to a question about staying fit and working out, I'll add some more to that.
Okay. What's your best memory with your parents?
Well, my mom loved me. She loved all her kids, and even with 6 kids and everything, she found time to spend one-on-one time with me, which was great. So I have loving memories of my mom and her nurturing, and total respect for all the hard work she did to financially keep the family together.
Yeah.
And my dad was an amazing person. He was a mathematical genius.
Mhm.
He can multiply any 3-digit number by another 3-digit number, give you the answer instantaneously. He had a propensity for physics. He was a pool shark.
What's that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he can play pool and he can run the table. He can. A lot of times you play to 100 points. If he broke, he make the 100 points on his own. He's just phenomenal, because he likes angles.
Yeah.
That's why he was good at. He liked the angles, physics. He was an excellent tennis player. Again, how to hit the ball at the angle where your opponent couldn't hit it back to you. So with him, the sports that he liked to do all had to do with math and physics. He had a fourth grade education, and he's an electrical engineer for Raytheon.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory with your kids?
Mine, all phases of life was great. I loved them when they were little. I spent so much time with them when they were little. We had a pool at the house, so we swam an awful lot. And watching them grow up, uh, I feel like I'm super close with both of my children, and we maintain that bond, right? And I see that not happen with a lot of my friends and their kids, where differences separated them and stuff like that. Um, with my daughter, it's all a lot of our is cerebral. We like talking about bitcoins, blockchain.
Hmm.
We like talking about um, physics, quantum computing. As just like you would just talk about the weather.
Yeah.
So we like talking like that. Um, with my son, sci-fi, all things sci-fi. I love sci-fi. I can't get enough of it, and he can't either. So we could talk things sci-fi, and we have lots of avenues we could talk about that. And with both my kids, I work out with them. And with my son more now because my daughter's married and lives in Georgetown. So my son worked out, and I still impress him a little bit. So yeah.
That's awesome. What's the best healthy habit you've picked up?
Well, eating. It doesn't matter what you do. If you don't have, if you got to find a diet, not go on a diet, but find a diet that you can live with. I'm lucky in the sense that I like all foods. I like all desserts. I like all foods. I like all fish, chicken. When I say all, I mean most of the mainstream stuff. I mean, I don't like octopus, but that's not something you would see a lot of, right? So any kind of white fish, salmon, tuna, swordfish, all the mainstays I like. And so for me, it's easy because I like so much. So for me, I did gain some. I never could gain weight. I was always a very thin person, and I gained weight by lifting weights. I weightlifted on and off my whole life. And if I had any weight, it was muscle weight until I turned 52, and then all of a sudden I gained belly fat. I didn't know what that was. I'm like, oh my God, right? I gained a lot of weight over like a 3-year period, and I had to learn that my body changed, and I just can't eat a bag of Oreo cookies. I could before, but I can't. I could no longer. So I had to learn what foods I could eat that I liked, so that I wouldn't gain weight.
Yeah.
And I did. Like I like yogurt. I wouldn't normally eat yogurt, but yogurt it's good in protein. It has probiotics in it, and you eat it with a bowl of blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries. And it's delicious.
Yeah.
I like ice cream, but ice cream's not good for you, so I'll eat that more. Now, do I eat ice cream? Yeah, on a hot sunny day, we're driving, want to stop and get an ice cream. I will get one,
Yeah.
but I don't eat ice cream throughout the year like I used to.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see the harm in it, but now it's just so much sugar in it. So it's what you eat is very, very important. You need to get it's like omega-3. People don't know much about it, but it's in walnuts, it's in salmon, and some other things. But if you don't eat those kind of things, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
So if you don't like them or don't normally eat them, then you should supplement with omega-3. Much better to get it in your food. But if you're not, you should supplement. B12, it's very hard to get B12. B12's in liver. You like eating liver? You're all set. You don't like eating liver? It's in some other foods. It's in less quantity and it's less absorbable in red meat. I don't eat much red meat anymore, primarily because my wife can't eat it. So she does the cooking, and I like fish, so I don't mind. I'll eat a steak once every 3 or 4 months. I like it, but I don't miss eating the fish. Right? Chicken and fish is what I normally eat for my protein source. So again, you need to know what's in your food. So you get some kind of iron, like spinach has a lot of good iron in it. So you want to make sure you're eating a variety of foods every day. And if you don't, you should supplement with at least vitamin D, unless you're in the sun for 20 to 30 minutes without a shirt on. I mean, it can't be just your arms, right? Every day. And
Yeah.
who does that, especially in the winter climate like we have? So vitamin D uh, is worth taking. Omega 3, if you don't eat a lot of fish. I eat a lot of fish, I don't have to worry about it. Um, there's some nutrients and vitamin, like I said, B12. It's a really, really important. And if you're a vegan, you can't get it in vegetables, so you have to take a supplement.
Yeah.
So again, um, eating, and then working out. Now you can't work out enough to lose weight if you're eating bad, because if you weightlifted for 45 minutes strenuously, between 200 and 300 calories is all you're going to burn.
Mhm.
You go for 1 mile run, 200 or 300 calories is all you're going to burn. So if you worked out and ran, you may burn 500 or 600 calories. One Big Mac's 1,000 calories. So you can't outrun it. I mean, these certain foods that you eat, especially if they're the um, um, highly processed food, your body, so you got a lot of calories coming in, and you're hungry a little bit later, so you got to eat more calories. If you have a huge bowl of salad, you physically can't eat anymore. And if you throw some eggs in there, it takes your body a while to break the protein down, so you're going to be satisfied a lot longer.
Yeah.
Oatmeal, you're going to be satisfied for a lot longer if you had a bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
So what you eat, you want volume. You want something with volume and low calories. And you just got to figure what that is. That's what I try to do, and that's what I do. So I can eat a lot, but my calorie count is not high. That's why I can maintain. And then it's easy. Sometimes a student brings in some donuts. I have one. Well, there's 300 calories. Now I'm not in maintenance. What am I going to do? I'm already going to work out today. It's really hard. Well, I'll go for a run. It's hard. So I try to walk. That's my key to keeping weight down in the summertime.
Yeah.
Spring, summer, and early fall, I'll walk about 10 miles. I'll do 2 to 3 mile walk 2 to 3 times a day.
Oof.
And I usually get it in. When you're a teacher and you have the summer off, you can do that. And then when school starts up, you can go to the gym and do it on the treadmill a little bit. But once winter hits, that's where I lose it. I gain 5 to 8 pounds between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I kind of hold that until May when I start walking. So starting as early as late April, I do a 3 mile walk to Planet Fitness from 2 to 3. And then my wife picks me up, and then we go to the gym and work out. When it's 25, 30 degrees outside, I'm not walking.
No.
So I just work in my classroom here until 3, and she picks me up here. So I get less activity, the less walking activity. Now, I had a DEXA scan a year ago.
What's that?
So you lay down in this bed. It's a 2D scan of your body, and it tells you how much bone density you have. That's the big thing, especially for women. Bone density, it tells you how much muscle mass you have and how much fat you have. And my bone density is unbelievably strong. It's really out there. I have a lot of muscle for a man my age, and my fat was not bad. I had about 1.5 pounds of visceral fat. That's the worst fat you can have. You want to be at about 1 pound or under. Everybody's got to have something.
Total, like 1 pound and under.
Yeah, total. The average person who's overweight has about 4 or 5 pounds.
Yeah.
That may be 30 pounds over, and it'd be the other fat, the subcutaneous fat. And that's harmful to you. It's not metabolically active. Visceral fat is. It gives your body inflammation, and it's just not good for you to have. And when I talked to the doctor about it, he goes, "I'm not concerned about what you have, because I was saying I'm doing more walking, which leaves me less time for working out." And so he said, "It's more important for you to have muscle at your age, and don't worry about the fat, because scleropenia, muscle loss, when you get older is a big thing. That's why you see a lot of people in their mid or early 70s in wheelchairs. They lost muscle. So he says you don't want to sacrifice that. So that's why I can lose the weight. I can keep it up in the winter. If I just did a little less working out because of the time that I have, I can keep the fat down, but my muscle will drop a bit. And he said, no, it's better to have more muscle and a little bit more fat than low fat and no muscle, right? So that's my struggle. So when I eat, and even my dietitian says, you're not eating enough. She keeps trying to get me to eat more. She goes, you gotta fuel the muscle. You gotta fuel the muscle.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and it's true. If I eat more, I lose more weight, as long as I'm working out. And when I eat more protein sources. So I just brought some pasta in today. It's made with like chickpeas.
Mm.
Delicious.
It's like a protein pasta?
Yeah, it's like 18 grams of protein in it.
Yeah.
And if you take pasta and you refrigerate it before you eat it, and you can microwave it again, it becomes resistant starch and it helps you lose weight. Just don't eat pasta freshly boiled. And I like it with olive oil and garlic. So my wife makes a big batch of it, olive oil, garlic, mixes it up, and we
Yep.
put them in these little microwavable pouches.
Yeah.
And I eat one of those, and it's about maybe 150, 180 calories. It has carbs in it, but I use carbs because I walk a lot and I run, and 18 to 20 grams of protein.
Wow.
And I love it. I absolutely love it. So I eat that. That's the 300 calories a day more my dietitian wants me to eat. That's what I eat.
Yeah.
And I don't mind eating more.
No.
But don't eat more by, I have a couple extra jelly donuts. No, that's not what she was saying. More quality food. The less processed the food can be, the better.
Yeah.
When you get there. So most of the food I eat is minimally processed. If you cut up a strawberry, well, it's processed, right? That's minimum.
Mm.
If you put it through a blender, right? That's hot, more processed. That's not as good.
Oh, so it's bad for you if you put in the blended strawberry.
It is, because normally what you do when you're doing a smoothie, you're going to add some kind of a sweetener to it, or you're going to add a banana to it and stuff like that. You're going to add a lot more calories, and it does something to the fiber.
Mm.
So eating minimally processed fruit and vegetables, like cutting up, that's fine. As long as all you do is cutting it up,
Yeah.
you're going to get more benefit from it.
Okay. What do people not understand about aging?
It comes up on you fast. I mean, so I do a lot of reading on aging, and what you want to do is, you don't want to live long. You want to live good life. So you want to be able to, in your 80s, take your piece of luggage and put it in the overhead of an airplane. You don't want to have help to do that. You want to be able to pick your grandbaby up out of the crib and walk over the chair and rock them. You don't want to be somebody placing the baby in your arms in your 80, right? So you need that strength to do that. That's why you got to work out. There's nothing replaces resistance training. Nothing. It's the best form. Do you have to go to a gym and lift steel weights? No, you can do rubber bands. I don't. I use steel weights because that's how I grew up using it. But if you don't feel comfortable, you can do it at home. Again, resistance bands is great. There's so many free YouTube programs you can do. But you've got to give your bones and your muscles a reason to stay strong and grow. If you sit, see, my job's a sitting job, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a teacher, so my job doesn't demand anything on my body.
Yeah.
So I have to work out. If you're a carpenter or an electrician, you probably don't. You might want to do a little cardio in your routine, and if you're in the field working, climbing up ladders and pulling the wire through, that's your workout, right? My brother's a carpenter and all that. You know, he's hammering all that, strong, nice, good forearms. He's good that way. So, but unfortunately, a lot of people like me have a sedentary type job. Yeah, I stand and walk around a little bit in the classroom, but a lot of my job is sitting on my computer designing lesson plans, and I teach computers, so it's not. That's why a lot of software engineers and stuff like that get a big belly, and because it's just easy, and I like what I do. I can just sit in front of the computer all day. I have to force myself up every hour of the hour, and I zigzag the room a little bit. I'll stretch. I'll touch my toes just to get up every hour of the hour. They call that you lose more weight doing these little things during the day than if you just go to the gym for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So me going to the gym is an addition, and I lift heavy because I want to maintain my muscle strength when I age, because it gets easier and easier and easier for you to lose muscle. So it gets harder and harder to gain it. When you're young, you can gain muscle like you can just look at weights and gain muscle. And when you get into your 40s, it's harder. I'm in my 60s, and the reason why weightlifting is easy for me and I can gain muscle easy because I did it my whole life.
Yeah.
If you weightlifted when you were younger and then stop and start again, they call it muscle memory, and the fibers are still there, just dormant for lack of use. So you'll have an easier time to gain muscle, strength, and size than somebody who never, let's say they're very athletic, they ran and played tennis most of their life, but they didn't weight train. Well, they never built up that muscle base. So in their 60s, it's going to be much, much harder for them to gain the muscle size and strength than somebody like me who did the weightlifting when he was younger.
Yeah, makes sense. What does good care look and feel like to you?
In which way? Care.
Like if someone like were to say, yeah, like they took really good care of me, or they took really good care of that person, what does that look like, sound like, or feel like to you?
I think variety. I think variety is the key. Doing something different. I love routines, and I get into a really good routine when I'm at school, but you want to be able to experience things you've never done before. I travel the world, so we go to different places, see how different people live and how they do their day-to-day living, and I like to experience different things. For work, I like a routine. I get up at a certain time. I have my oatmeal every morning. I come in, I get my classroom set up, and I teach. I have a nice routine that I'd like to do, but I like to break that routine when I'm not at school. So a little variety. So so you don't want to get bored. I'm never bored.
Love that. And then last but not least, what do you want to be re- remembered for?
I like to. I guess I like people to say that I was a hardworking person with a kind heart. Uh, I'm willing to help anybody in anything they want. I have certain skills that I built over my lifetime, and if somebody wants me to help them do something, I do. So I think that's a big thing here that I'm a well-educated person that has a set of skills, and I'm willing to help other people out.
Awesome.
And one more thing I want to add to that, when you get to the question, and it was, so I try to think smart, and one of the things that I learned, especially in marriage, if I can get my wife to do it with me, I get to do it more.
Hmm.
So when it comes to working out, she never worked out before, and I got her to come to the gym several times, and over a small period, like me, I don't love going to the gym. I
Mhm.
like the results of the gym,
Exactly.
and my wife does too. She like we never like, oh, let's go to the gym today, but we're like after the workout, hey, that was a good workout. Oh yeah, I did my PR today on this one here and all that, and yeah, my pants aren't pinching me as much anymore, and and so I learned that if I can get my wife to go with me to do, and that's that, and other things. It got her interest in travel and things like that. And same with my kids. They're enthusiastic about going to the gym. I'm not, but I'll go, and we work out together and stuff like that. So yeah, you want to make sure that you incorporate others into things you like, and then same for me. I try to do things that I may not be 100% caring to do to be doing what they do. And you get that again, that balance. It's all about balance, I guess, in the long run.
Yeah.
Trying to balance everything out, not too much on one thing, not too much on the other. Yeah.
Awesome. That's all I got. How was that?